Let's go. I'm better than ever, they never been better than I. Regarded the hardest and I ain't even reaching my prime. They hate that I'm great and they faking I'm real as they come. So sit back and let me show you how this shit is done. My composition, my propositions, I'm raping the system. I'm killing the competition and all of y'all are my victims. Eyes and oohs as I'm ripping the instrumental. Lyrical, individual, never been sentimental. I'm so hot every time that beat drop. And when I say I'm raping the system.
Now, before I begin, I'm letting y'all know we in for a real treat today. We got a wager match. We got two of the best sim players going at it. Myself versus Dezzo, Too Swift. But of course, where's my manners and my respect? What is going on, boxing fans and gamers? It's your boy, FightNightsFinest, back with another YouTube video. Now, before I get into it, I'm letting y'all know I'm a little sick. So if there's any coughing, I'm going to do my best to chop those parts out. But I'm going to try to make it through this commentary, but it's been real difficult. I've been trying to do commentary since Thursday, but just had COVID last week and I've been sick and trying to recover from that. So every once in a while, throat be acting up. Pause. However, I'm not going to let it stop me from bringing this greatness to y'all that I had the other day. Now, my opponent here, his name is Dezzo Too Swift. Dezzo Too Swift. Excellent sim player. One of the best I've ever played in my 10 years of playing Fight Night Champion. Dezzo claimed to be the best sim fighter on the game. Now we're going to talk about that word best. But I will say this as an opponent. Take a sip of this water real quick. If Dezzo claimed to be the best sim player on the game, he 100% has that right to claim the title. Now, y'all know me. Some people will say I'm the best sim player. Some people may think I'm the best player. Some people may say it's Malky. Some people may say it's Prime. There's a lot of people who claim to be the best. I don't really identify with that title of being best, but I always identify with players with elite skills. And I'm always going to give flowers to a guy who can come out here and throw every type of punch, fight every different type of style, make adjustments. I call you elite. That's what I do call you. And I will say that Dezzo Too Swift definitely earned the right to say that. Not only because of his skills, but also it's $25 on the line here. This is a wager match. So anybody who's been around since that Virgin Gaming era knows that when it comes to these game battles, when it comes to playing for that bread, when there's that money on the line, when your cash app has been thrown down in chat and you got the confidence to back it up, most guys don't have it because they know when they're calling you out, they're going to fold in the first 4 to 5 rounds like a steel chair in a cage match. And they don't want to put that money behind it. But we were supposed to have the fight, just to give out a little back. Excuse me. Just to give y'all a little background on the situation. We're supposed to have this fight on Tuesday. This man came back 2 days later. It was like, my bad, fight night. I couldn't pull up then, but I'm pulling up right now. Let me know when it's going down. And we had this match live on stream. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to everybody who came out to the stream. We do be live streaming, so come through and check out the streams. But without further ado, enough background. Let's get into this match. Round 1. Y'all saw me come out in our southpaw stance as per Nell Whitaker will do. But anybody who's been watching the channel, if you're new here, I'm an orthodox style fighter. That doesn't mean I can't play southpaw. But one thing you never want to do in a wager match or in any type of competitive match is play to the opponent's strengths. And what y'all going to see here is a brilliant strategy, what I think so on my part. And just I'm going to explain my mindset and the psychology and what was the game plan that I feel allowed me to be competitive in this fight. I always start off, not always, depending on the match. But when you don't know somebody from a hole in the world, a hole in the wall, I think it's a good idea to start off in the opposite stance. Now, the reason you start off in the opposite stance is because you want to be able to download as much information about your opponent that you possibly can. And y'all see me trying out a bunch of different styles here, but I'm mainly being aggressive in these first couple of rounds because I want to see how this man handles pressure. And the game plan here believe it or not, is not to win the first couple of rounds. I actually will prefer if I lost the first couple of rounds. And I'm going to explain the psychology behind this. Because the thing that makes you elite isn't so much always your technical skill or your game knowledge, your matchup knowledge, or even your reaction speed or the combos you throw. It's actually much deeper than that. It's simply the ability to adjust. You hear Floyd Mayweather say it all the time, champions adjust. The best fighters always make adjustments. The ability to make adjustments, especially in competitive matches, is what separates you or what makes you elite or allows you to make that claim of being the best. So I'd rather fall behind early, which has always been kind of my blueprint when it comes to playing Fight Night Champion, is I really don't care about the first 4 rounds. Because the first 4 rounds is a downloading process. I want to be able to excuse me. I want to be able to gain as much knowledge as possible about my opponent's patterns and his tendencies. And that's why you're seeing these counter punches being able to come through. Now, the point of applying this pressure and being the aggressor in this fight was so that I can see what combinations he likes to throw and what is his timing. And that's going to be key to making adjustments later down the line in this fight. Now, you see the scorecards come up as we reach round number 4. It's 2 rounds to 1, so it's already competitive. He's won the first 2. I won the 3rd round. So this is playing directly into my strategy. And this is not only just a part 1 of downloading, but I also want to do something else. Gain the stamina advantage. Why is stamina so crucial in this matchup, you may be asking? What are you talking about? Why stamina? What does stamina got to do with anything? Well, let me tell you. After I take a sip of this water. Stamina is key because we both have the same stats. So the only thing that can differentiate between us when the matchup is so even in terms of the skill is going to be the ability to read and how much stamina your fighter has, which determines how effective your stats are going to be. Still don't understand the point of being an aggressor. I got you. Don't worry about that. By being the aggressor, I can force this fight to get into a scenario where I can be more technical. It goes into the main thing that's going to separate me from my opponent is after I get him to a certain level of pace, right? Him fighting at a certain tempo, a certain rhythm, and a certain pace. You're probably already noticing it from this round. We're still both fighting kind of fast, but I'm not fighting nearly as fast as I was fighting in round number 1. And that was on purpose. I wanted the tempo to be set high on his end so that he can burn through most of his stamina. And I want to get to a point where I burn a certain amount of stamina and then I choose to maintain it. The purpose behind doing this is while his stats are still deteriorating, mine are staying about the same that it was at around round 3 or round 4. Now, normally, you guys won't ever see me burning through this much stamina. I'll keep it at 100 if I can. But I don't want this to be a thing about technical skill. Now, I will reveal, of course, one of my own weaknesses. I don't do too well against southpaws. Never have, never really will, because I'm a jab first type of fighter. But because he's southpaw, it does take away the jab to a certain extent. Not to say that the jab will be useless, but you can always find a purpose for anything. And in any matchup, you can always find a purpose for your tools. You just got to know how to utilize them. So with me applying the pressure, and even here seeing me, yeah, I'm still fighting kind of fast, but it's at a more slower pace. I'm not throwing 5 or 6 punch combinations or three to 4 punch combinations now. Now I'm throwing more single shots or maybe 3 punches at the max. So that's been the difference between the first couple of rounds versus round number 5 here. So it's just to keep trying to attack the head as much as possible. Normally I would try to help out by going downstairs to the body, but there's also another thing that I noticed about Dezzo, which is why I wasn't so focused on a body heavy attack like I normally would be. He moves his head. So I already know, regardless to what he does, he's going to burn stamina at a faster rate than I will. simply because he uses head movement. 1 second. Okay. So since I know that my opponent is utilizing head movement, it's also going to mean that there's opportunities to score easier points, and there will be times where I may be able to set up some counters because I'm going to set up most of my counters through sidestepping or backstepping. I'm going to utilize my feet in order to set up my offense and my defense. And the game plan is to pressure him as much as possible. So then when I do take the outside from him, after he's been fighting on the inside so much, or he's been fighting on the outside so much, excuse me, I've been fighting on the inside so much, it will then allow me to adjust, take the outside from him, and even though I will still be utilizing the same combos, my pattern of attack will be slower and more difficult to fight, and then I will try to keep it more technical. So what you're going to notice here in round number 6 is me testing out, can I beat him now in a technical aspect or from a counterpunching mid-range sort of style, where I'm fighting at a much slower pace. If I can be successful in this round, then I know I could be more successful going into the second half of this fight. So like I said, this is round 6. I've won one round already underneath my belt. So I just need to win 6. And if I win 6, then I could go ahead and, seal the deal by winning the remaining rounds during the fight. Now, here's one of the things that I'm noticing here, though. He is also catching me at times as well with some headshots. He's no slouch. On a technical aspect, so to speak, we're about the same. I do feel like I have the slight edge in terms of being more poised in the fight, being more able to generate counters, just because I feel like I'm a slightly better counterpuncher than he is. Combination-wise, I would say we were about the same. But when it comes to predicting and using foresight to set up counters, I do have the slight advantage. And I'm going to utilize that, take that small advantage, and try to take an inch and take a mile. Speaking of counters, sidestep, hit him with a counter left uppercut when he was going downstairs to the body. Straight right hand comes through like a laser, and I get the first knockdown of the fight. So 10-8 round underneath my belt, along with the round that I won in round number 3. That means the point difference that he has accumulated from winning so many of the other rounds will now allow me to make this fight a lot closer. So when it comes to adjusting now, we got to talk about the psychological impact. When you get put down on the canvas, especially when there's so much pressure on the line, you're fighting in a live stream, you got that pressure. If you haven't competed before, you have that pressure. If you know you're playing against a good pressure, mentally that puts a lot of stress and pressure on the mind. So you may not be doing all the things that you may normally do or feel as comfortable with doing. So from a psychological aspect, when you make a mistake or you get dropped, or even if you're winning, it's also going to bring forth that mental aspect to the game that people don't like to take serious for some reason, or they think it's not a factor. If you watch any competitive esports, y'all know sometimes even if there's a better team, if they're not in the right space mentally, then the whole fight is going to go out the window. A lot of y'all don't like me talking about the psychology part of the game. But I'm telling y'all, if y'all are competitive with anything, psychologically, sometimes it's more important than technical skill. So once again, we're still trying out the outside here, but now I'm swapping the game plan a little bit. Excuse me. Okay. I'm also going to make sure I'm attacking the body more in this round, because like I said, sorry. Stamina advantage is very crucial and very important in these type of fights. Like I said, stats matter. So going into getting that 10-8 round was big, because now I can focus my attack more downstairs on forcing him to use more stamina. So this way, when we see the scorecards, and if I'm judging it accurately, then I'll still have a chance to just win straight up on points by winning rounds 8, 9, and 10. So yes, we're still attempting to win this round, but Dezzo did a pretty good job of scoring to the head in this round, as well as landing certain counters. So if you notice here, we're coming forward and we're in real big danger of getting dropped. So what you're going to notice that I do is I'm not going to give him any indication that his counters are working or that I have been damaged. I continue to pressure, but I'm doing it smartly. This way, if I am close to getting put down, it really matter. And those shots, those headshots that he was able to land was a big deal because he almost was able to combat the point lead that I just gained for myself, or that I used to close the gap. So if I got dropped there, that would have been a huge deal. Speaking of a huge deal, you guys see now that scenario that I was talking about is 67 to 65. 2 rounds, 2 point lead to my opponent. It's 5 rounds to 2 right now. But with the knockdown, it's really like 4 rounds to 3. So this round is very crucial. Now, y'all saw that adjustment that I made in round number 6 of me taking a more technical counter punch and mid-range sort of style in the fight, and I was successful. I was able to get the knockdown. So I'm gonna replicate the same thing here, and it's very big that I'm able to land my counter shots, which just landed counter right hand, right hook to the head, counter power straight down the pipe, also lands. So I have the access to the outside. I land another counter, another jab in the right hand, and the main reason I'm throwing so many right hands is, once again, he's southpaw, and I have to utilize the straight because he's Philly shell. Now the jab is being used as a blinder here to allow the right hand to land. And then of course there's my other favorite combo, left hook in the straight. Sometimes there's also a spamming combo, but I'm utilizing this because that's what helps break the guard against Philly shell fighters. Now you can throw straight right hand naked and then try to put the left hook behind it. But when you do that, the left hook is counterable and easy to counter for southpaw players. Hooks in general can be easy to counter. So I have to limit the amount of counters that he lands and make sure that I'm landing enough straight right hand counters in order to take the fight in my favor. So this has been a pretty good job of counter punching and being defensively responsible. There's been a couple of moments in this round, like even towards the end of this one, where I didn't need to throw as much and just kind of stay defensive. But like I said, I want that stamina advantage that I have. I want to utilize it as much as possible. So that is the reasoning behind what you're seeing right now. Round number 9, I'm down by 1 point, but I land a straight right hand, land another straight right, and that allows me that access to the outside. Right uppercut landing, a counter right hook to the head also landed. So definitely have the point lead secure so far in the round. At this point, it's about discipline, it's about defense, and making the right reads. So the best way to do that is to utilize correct punch selection. The jab and the straight coming out. You see the body shot still coming through. Still attacking the body. You can never forget about using body shots. And you see me here countering again with the straight right hand. I pull counter. I step back and I counter. I'm utilizing a lot of different techniques in order to get the counter punches here. Y'all rarely see me use head movement or use the pull counter, but when I do, hey, against these type of opponents, you gotta make sure you're bringing out all the different techniques. So I tried to pull counter there. It was unsuccessful. Looked to stop movement by throwing the straight right hand downstairs to the body. Left hook in the straight is able to pierce the guard. That's why I said sometimes you want to throw that combo instead of throwing straight right hand followed by the left hook. But what you do want to do is pull counter, use the head movement, get the straight right hand counter upstairs. So with a minute basically and some change left to go, I'm in good position to secure round number 9 for myself too. And at that point, it's anybody's fight. So he comes through with the high-low combination. Right hook downstairs to the, left hook downstairs to the body, followed by the right hand because he is coming out of that southpaw position. I tried to throw the right uppercut downstairs to the body after blinding him with the jab, and it was unsuccessful. But what was successful is that counter lead right hook downstairs to the body, the liver shot, penetrating the liver, pause on the penetration. But I throw the jab and the right hand downstairs of my own, sidestep and look for the counter right uppercut, but that was unsuccessful. But the straight right hand to the head was a counter shot, and that is definitely going to make sure that I secure this round. Had another counter opportunity there, but prioritized defense instead. They didn't want to get me my straight right hand down the pipe, but what we are going to get into is round number 10 here. This is for all the marbles. It's anybody's fight. Whoever wins this round pretty much wins the fight, and he has an opportunity to potentially tie it up, and then we get the Fight Night champion draw scenario on the line. So it's all about who can seal the deal, who can do what is best for their game, put it and utilizing every single thing that they notice into 2 minutes. Who's gonna win the fight? Well, I tell you one thing, I know for a fact I'm going for the head. So you see me coming out with the straight right hands, the left uppercut and the right hook. There goes a 6-punch combination for me. I tried to step back and set up a straight right hand on the pipe. It was unsuccessful. A lot of missed shots coming around from both fighters now. But then I land that sidestep right uppercut, come through with a combo of my own, sidestep the right hand, and we're just trading back and forth. There's a lot of high and low combinations, a lot of high and low mix-ups. Everybody is in their combination bag. You want to think we was Kyrie Irving with how many moves you are seeing so far in this fight. I go downstairs and I counter, which is big, downstairs to the body. I know at that point he is hurt, and that should seal the deal. The right hook comes through and drops him on the canvas. 2 knockdowns for your boy. And as you heard me say on the back commentary or during the live commentary, I believe that should seal the deal. But with a minute left, I want to make sure that I secure the fight. So I'm still going to try to be defensively responsible, but I am going to still throw punches back here. I'm not going to give him the opportunity to just overwhelm me with combinations or with headshots and me potentially give him that point lead back. So now it's about trading on the inside. Who has the better combination, who has the ability to mix up their high and low combinations and set up some type of opening. For him, it's like I said, it's all about landing the combos, landing the big heavy shots to try to get it back in blood. And for me, it's about maintaining what I have. That's why my back is against the ropes, but I'm still trading back. 10 seconds left to go in this round. Straight right hand is unable to connect, but the one downstairs to the body is successful. So nice. He tried to do it thrice, one to the body, and it came up top with the straight left hand, but it was not good fight, dude, going to be enough. There you have it. A great fight with a great fighter. 2 guys going at it. I ended up winning 95-93 on 2 of the judges' scorecards. And, of course, one was a draw. Shout out to Dezzo. Shout out to everybody in the chat who came through in the live stream. If y'all enjoyed the video, please do me a favor. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Like the video. Share it with your friends. Share it on your social media. All that good stuff. It's been your boy, FightNightsFinest, the selfie commentator.